Welcome to the first episode of They're All In. It's the new Starters Order 6 Online League review, roundup and magazine show for the flat side of the league. It's already week 2 in the league, of course, and first week was mainly maidens. The proper racing kicked in this week, and I'll be chatting with Doug later on, getting all the news and feedback from Monday's racing with the big Dubai World Cup. Doug and myself having our conversation a little bit later, so crack on with the rest of the look back. We'll start off with a look at Tuesday and start off at Doncaster with the Lincoln, which is the first big flat handicap of the season, and it was the first big win of the season for Graham Clutterbuck with Robin Goodfellow. Robin Goodfellow, of course, used to be the racing tipster in the Daily Mail back in the days when they had racing tipsters in all the newspapers. I don't know whether they still do that. That's where he got that name from, and that was a comfortable half-length winner from David Robertson's Blue Piggy, who was second, and James Shea, back again this season after winning the Grand National last year, was third with Creative. Typical Lincoln, fast and furious, and Robin Goodfellow staying on one at the end and just got up to win in the shadow of the post. A little bit later on the day, on Tuesday, there was a 5 furlong maiden, and that was for 2-year-olds. That was, of course, the William Hill Brocklesby. That always used to be the first race of the flat turf season many years ago. Went to Paul Rhodes this year with 4 Filler, who disputed the lead for most of the way. It was always up there in the van and won quite comfortably. Digital Prince for Thunderspark was second, and Graham Clutterbuck was up there again with Crash Bang Wallop, which came third. The first of the big Guineas trials was next, and that was the Nell Gwyn. That's been won by some good horses in the past, and no difference today with Gale's Honey for David Robertson. Might well have been slowly away, but stayed on really well at the end and was in the lead a good 2 furlongs out, won it really well. I presume that one will be going for the Guineas next week and will probably be quite well fancied by most. Pebble ran well in second for James Shea. I would think that one will probably be Guineas bound as well. And Jim Murray, who's been doing really well with his jumpers lately, is no mean trainer on the flat as well, with Sugartown Girl coming in third. And that one will also be headed straight for the 1,000 guineas now, I should think. A good quality race, as always. The Craven was the race after that, and that's over the extra furlong, of course, the exact same trip as the 2,000 guineas. And this time, Jim Murray promoted from third to first, because Magic Town Boy was the winner of that one. And that one, again, staying on really well towards the end. I should think that one will be headed straight for the 2,000 guineas now. And some of the placed horses ran well as well in that race. I'm not sure which of them will be headed towards the Guineas, but I would think that you'll probably find James Shea will be putting his third place horse Flavouring into that race. The next of the handicaps was up next. That was the 0 to 90 32 Red Casino handicap, and that was a win for a new trainer, Ehab Farah. I think that's his first winner ever. It's definitely his first winner this season, and he's off the mark early as well. It's only week 2, so that's well done to Ehab and his horse Moi, which won that quite comfortably, driven out towards the line, but it won it quite well with On Tape again, James Shea in second, and Bluegrass Cat for Serious Chill was back in third. Nice to see Doug's horse in fourth. Robinson's Mercedes-Benz handicap was next, another 0 to 90 event, and this time it was Derek Hinton in the winner's enclosure with E-Sweet. Nice performance from that one, beat Colin Clark's Risky Diocese back in second, and Serious Chill was third with Greatly Exaggerated. He was well detached at the early part of the race, ran through really well, and keep an eye on that one. That one should be winning before too long. On to Wednesday then, and another competitive card of racing on the Wednesday, and that was the Dubai Duty Free handicap. Was the first one, 0 to 90 at Newbury, and that was a win for Rod McClure and Count the Dots from Madly in second, which is a James Follis horse, and Dirty Prawn, which is coming back from last season, was third for Stu Gray. Once again, Doug managed to fill fourth place with his sister Larks. The Compton Beecham Estates Stakes at Newbury was another one of those red hot maidens, and another one of those red hot maidens that went the way of John Morgan with Johannesburg. A comfortable winner, driven out towards the line, but won it by a length and 3/4 from Atomic Bomb. Paul Rhodes in second, so 2 of the big trainers up there fighting that one out. Paul Rhodes didn't lose any sleep about being second. The next race he was straight up into the winner's enclosure with Brain Freeze, which won that race quite nicely. That was a long distance race, and that one will be headed towards some of the big long distance races later in the season, maybe even the Ascot Gold Cup, won comfortably from Worlders Will in second from Leon van Rensburg, and Joshua Sutherland's Duracell drummed its way into third. We dropped down to 6 furlongs next for the Colne Valley Stud Maiden Stakes, and that was Thunderspark this time, so a hat-trick of top trainers getting winners one after the other then. So Nether Star River was that one, and that one won by a quarter of a length, just getting up on the line to beat Tandoori Take Your Order in second, and Scooby Lass for David Robertson was back in third. The Whitney Stud Maiden was another one for John Morgan with Nibs Point, winning that one quite comfortably. Stayed on really well at the end of that one, and we'll see that in some big races later in the season. Quite a few good horses down the field in that one as well, with Barrador second for Thunderspark, and Lucky Jim for Leon van Rensburg was in third. The Tote Paul King Richard III Stakes was next at Leicester, and that was a win for Martin Cairns Danvers. It was prominent early on and stayed on well towards the end to win it really well from James Shea's Break Farringdon in second, and Anguilla Phil from Derek Hinton was in third. The 0 to 100 Nursery was next, and that was a win for Joshua Sutherland with 2 bites, which won reasonably comfortably, although it didn't get up, didn't get near the front until quite near the end. It won going away by 2 1/4 lengths from Minute for Serious Chill in second, and Frosted Fire was back in third for Paul Rhodes. The British Stallion Studs Stakes was after that one, another one of these red hot maidens, and 5 in a row was the winner this time for James Shea, winning by 3/4 of a length from Marcroft. John Morgan in second. Required Force for Joshua Sutherland was back in third, and Jim Murray filled the 4th place slot with Park Lane Girl. I would suggest that all 4 of those will be winning more races as the season progresses. Race 29 was another win for Joshua Sutherland with Grinding, and he really did grind out a victory. He was all out right at the end and got up to win by half a length from Due Give for Doug in second, so a few there or thereabouts for Doug. He's getting closer. Profits Crosby for Terence DeBarle, a first name check for him this season, was in third place, and again some good performances in that maiden, and I think we'll be seeing quite a few winners come out of that race as well. It was Joshua Sutherland again in the next race in the second Reflection, winning by 3/4 of a length from Azim Maril for Darren Thompson and Little Piggy for David Robertson. So good end to day 3 for Josh there. Going on then to the bonus races for this week, and first one of those was the Scatters Nursery again at Leicester, and Martin Cairns was in the winner's circle this time with Formation, taking it from El Cielo for Molliette's Surfer, and Purple Records ran on into third place to give me my best result of the second week with a third place there. The final flat race of the week was the Joshua Sutherland Maiden Stakes, and after having the 3 winners previous, he might well have thought he was going to win his own race. He very nearly did as well, with Doom coming second, but wasn't confused, and won nicely by 3/4 of a length for James Shea, with Out of Reach for David Robertson back in third. So that was the racing then on Tuesday and Wednesday, and some great pointers there. We've got some good races coming up next week, and the 2 Guineas trials will give us a bit of an idea about what's likely to be going in there. Right, well, I've got Doug with me again now then for the first time this year. How you doing, Doug?
Oh, I'm good, Martin. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Did you have a good off-season? Did you go to Hong Kong or somewhere? Did you go to?
Yeah, I went to Shanghai and then went to Hong Kong and spent too much money on a hotel room, but there was an excellent view of the harbour, so unfortunately I missed out on the racing there, so that was I was spewing about that.
I was going to ask you that next, if you got to a race course. So.
No, it was just unfortunate that we're there for 3 nights and we're leaving on the Thursday afternoon, and I'm thinking beauty Wednesday night, Happy Valley. But it ended up that week there's a bank holiday on the Monday, so they put all the racing back a day.
No.
So it's probably the only week where they do it for the whole season. And I happened to be in Hong Kong that week, so
Oh,
missed out.
look on the bright side, it might have saved you a few bob. That Hong Kong form can be a bit dodgy. You probably lost a fortune.
No, you have a crack. Sometimes knowing too much is a curse.
Anyway, back we are again then for another season. We had week 1 last week, didn't we? All those maidens and stuff, lots of stuff going on.
Yep.
I see the situation normal with lots of other stuff. You're getting all the fancy assignments off to Dubai for the World Cup, and I get Leicester and Catterick or somewhere. So I think I might be making a complaint to the powers that be. I don't know. I get some good places to go. So how was the Dubai World Cup?
I don't know. Because I've got notes here for the Dubai Sheehan Classic.
No, I meant the whole thing. They call the whole thing the World Cup, don't they?
Oh,
not one particular
there you
round.
go. That's well, there you go. It was pretty competitive. It's a pity, to be honest with you, with the events that have unfolded in the past 7 days, that this meeting isn't actually held this week. So I know for a few trainers they wouldn't want that, and that's fair enough. But it just would have been better to get into the big races on a clean slate.
Yeah, well, you see, if you're somebody like me who's sort of like traditionalist British racing, then this is when they do start, because this stuff don't count. This is circus racing. This is running around a teapot on sand. It's not real racing. I'd upset everybody then.
Yeah, well, I was into forums on YouTube during the week on horse racing in the past week, and running on dirt got a few people fired up. I must admit, more than I thought could happen. So
it's never been a popular thing in Britain, and when they brought it in with the all weather racing, they did it for all the wrong reasons. Really, they just did it so that they could race really low grade horses for no money. If they'd have done it with the idea of trying to put together some sort of program that made the British horses competitive in the big American races, and that might have made some sense. But it's always sort of second class, sort of third class racing in England, and it's very difficult for us to. It used to be anyway, very, very difficult to get into American racing because they just appear to just jump out of the stalls and just go as fast as they can for as long as they can stand it for. I'm sure it's not like that really, but I think it's because it seems to always be on the turn, doesn't it? And they always go the same way, and it's sort of like one track looks the same as the other, and it's just something that British people have never really got into, apart from a very, very small minority. So it's very easy to take the mickey out of something.
Does, and from what I'm led to believe, it's hard to have a champion horse that can run on the dirt and then go onto the turf, or vice versa. You've either got a champion on the turf or you've got a champion on the dirt, and they don't really meet in between, So
it probably doesn't help. There's different types as well, isn't there? It's not all the same, is it? It's different sort of different types of all-weather track and dirt track and stuff. And I mean, some of those races that you see from years ago when it's been raining in America, when anything that can describe the going as sloppy can't be good, can it?
We had the Kentucky Derby last weekend, and I don't know if you saw the replay of it.
I didn't in the end. No, I didn't see it in the end. I was gonna, but I ended up going, and I got coerced into going to watch Swansea against Everton because a couple of my mates are Swansea supporters, so we all went off to their side. A particularly unpleasant night because they won, and I knew they would because it didn't matter whether we won or not because the season's finished for us. We're 7th, and that's it. We can't finish anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it in the end.
I don't know if it would have been described as sloppy. The track, it was very muddy. It looked like the water was sitting on top of the track.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Big field. All I know is at the start there was just jockeys almost bumping their horses into each other. I just think, God, if that was Australia, jockeys on holidays now, they just get rubbed out. It was a good win by the winner, and it's got some form, and it'll go into the Preakness, the favourite. The horse that ran second. That was a good run. It came from near the tail of the field. That was covered in mud. And coming down the home stretch for the final time, the horses midfield and back were just caked in mud. And I don't particularly feel comfortable with a horse. It's a wonder they could see. It's a wonder they just didn't have mud in their eyes.
Well, I think that's why most of the American horses wear blinkers, don't they? I mean, they put blinkers on a horse over here to sort of sharpen it up a bit and make it a bit more focused. I think in America they put them on to stop the dirt getting at them as much as anything.
It was an interesting race to watch, and as I said, the second horse come from a long way back, and that was an impressive run. But the horse that won it did have a good barrier. He had to use it up to hold his position. He sat second all the way, and he would have ended up being the cleanest horse in the race at the end of the race. And you really get the feeling that on a track like that, if you're caught back in the field and you're just covered in mud, it's almost race over. I can safely say from the Kentucky Derby that the winner of it will win the Preakness, and I think it's the Belmont's the third leg. And if it's mainly horses that compete for the other two legs that come out of the Kentucky Derby, well, I can't see anyone else beating the winner of the Derby. So there's my call. This horse could take the Triple Crown.
Okay. Keep an eye on that then.
Definitely. I will be. I won't be putting money on it, but I'll keep an eye out for it.
I suppose while we're talking about real racing, we might as well just pop in there the horse that came second in the Melbourne Cup last year and died, didn't it, last week? That was pretty sad.
Yeah, it was a training accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, that seems to happen quite a lot, or a lot more than you'd think it would. Good horses sort of getting injured when they're training and stuff, so that was a bit sad. Anyway, I suppose we better get back onto what we're supposed to be talking about, which is is the Dubai Shima Classic, isn't it? Dubai.
That's correct, and that was a great win for Joshua Sutherland and Pumpkin, and I think that gave Josh his first Group 1 win.
It did, yes.
It was.
I was lucky enough to be watching the live stream. I know you can't watch it because of the time of day it's on, but I was in the thing, and the comments were going, and I think it's safe to say Josh was somewhat surprised when his horse won. Probably the best way to describe it. I don't think he was expecting it, and it was nice to see. And it's always good in there as well. All the other trainers that he'd beaten were straight in there straight away going, oh, well done. So that was good.
Yep, and from my chat with Josh earlier in the year, was it late last year, it doesn't matter anyway, he was in it to win it, and he was striving to be a Group 1 winning trainer, and he's finally got there, and it's safe to say, train one, you're going to train another sooner or later. So, and I think what made it even better was that Pumpkin was never closer than 4 wide the entire race, and so that was an outstanding effort. And Twin Turbo looked the winner for Paul Rhodes, and then the jockey just stopped riding about 50 metres to go. It was unbelievable. The professor must have just been pulling his hair out, and
I thought I was going to be the first jockey sacking of the season, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. We would be, and but a win's a win. And Marty Can Sagan was trapped wider than Pumpkin for most of the race as well, and that ran on well for 4th. And the Green Lantern for David Robinson was an okay run for 5th, not helped by the jockey taking the horse back near the rear at the 4.5 furlong post when it was in a very handy position, and the jockey just took it back to about third last. It was very strange, so it could have cost it I don't think it would have cost it a win, but maybe a placing. And Runa Vise for Thunderspark did cop some minor interference at the 2.5 furlong, but not enough to change the result.
Yeah, it was good. I would like to see it was good to see Josh getting his first Group 1. It was particularly pleasing with all the other shenanigans that have been going on, to see the reaction in the live feed as well. Everybody sort of like being really pleased for him. Nobody sort of moaning or anything. Even Paul wasn't moaning about his jockey too much, quite sort of tongue in cheek about it. And there was a suggestion that there's a brown envelope in the post to somebody. I don't know about that.
The jockey off overseas on holiday, extended holiday.
Yeah, I think it could be right.
So congratulations, Josh, there, and we'll move on to race 7, Etisalat Godolphin Mile at Dubai. And this was another breakthrough win for another trainer, and Darren Howes picked up his first Group 2 and maybe even his first Group race. I know he hasn't won a Group 1. I'm not sure he's won a Group 3 or not, but just getting the cat off here, just it's kind of annoying me. Yeah, he's picking up his Group 2. I was really surprised, as he mentioned in the forums. Not surprised in I was surprised in a fantastic because I've always sort of measured my horses alongside Darren's. We've sort of had fairly similar stables, and with the quality and results, he may have done a little bit better than me, but and then see him get the Group 2, I thought that was fantastic. And Jim Murray's Police Town Boy was in Hoppershoot, was only a head away, and Paul Rhodes' Kim Marsh was not far away in third, and that made me wonder who's Kim Marsh.
Well, she's a woman who used to be in a band that they sort of made up. I think this is who she is anyway. That they had one of those talent competitions years ago and made some groups up, all girl singers, and she was in that. And I think, if I'm correct now, she's in a soap opera called Coronation Street.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's in that. I'm not 100% certain because I don't watch it, but I have a feeling that she's now become an actress and she's in that. But I don't know about you, but I'm seriously worried about Paul, because he does seem to have some funny fetishes, doesn't he? Sort of like middle-aged lady newsreaders, and then now he's got this thing about detectives and stuff. Oh, what are we going to get next? I don't know. Juliet Bravo we got in a race later on. She was a sort of dowdy middle-aged detective woman from the 70s.
I would have just imagined Kim Marsh as an attractive woman.
Oh, no, Kim Marsh is fine, but I don't know where he gets the Juliet Bravo bit from and all that, and Inspector Morse and Sergeant Bilko as well he's got, hasn't he? So I think he's... it'll be interesting to know where he gets them from. Well, I suppose it'll be interesting to know where everybody gets their name from, really.
Well, it'll be a worry if he's next to horses Barbara Cartland or something like that. Yeah,
well, I noticed there's a new chap training whose name is Taunton in the I think his name is Taunton in the forums, yep. And he's got 2 or 3 trainer names because he's used them in his name, and he's got a horse called Margaret Thatcher. So I think if anybody really named a horse Margaret Thatcher in England, I don't really know what would happen to her, because she's not the most sort of popular person around in Britain, even though she's...
I know she's got her fans, but she's also got her detractors.
Yeah, I would think that it's outweighed about 5 to 1. Even a lot of people that used to support her years ago, now the aftermath of it all, probably don't. And if you're anywhere near coal mining towns, whisper her name if you're going to say it. So, I would think if, for some bizarre reason, Margaret Thatcher gets entered in a race at Pontefract, we're going to have a word and have it tactically withdrawn, because we couldn't have Margaret Thatcher running at Pontefract.
Be an upset winner, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a bigger thing than Shergar and get kidnapped and all sorts of dreadful things would happen to her, I think so. I don't think their trainer would last long. Well, we're going off the point a little bit, aren't we? Yep. Again, as usual.
I'll get back onto the race, and Darren Thompson's Kerala set a cracking pace and only conceded inside the last 100 metres to finish 4th. And Hollywood Hinton's Ghostly Grey, Awesome Shine, holding 5th and under 5 lengths. And it was under 5 lengths from 1st to 10th, so it was quite an even field, with most of the horses outside the first 3 should go close in listed in Group 3 company. And I think Terence DeBarle and Alex Cherie, their horses, with a bit of luck from the handicapper from this race, they should win a handicap race soon if they enter them right. And they won't disgrace finishing at the tail. They weren't too far away.
They weren't. They were the only 2 that you and me managed to beat. So they're in a very small club. They had their horses beaten by yours and mine.
Well, I'm a bit upset because I'm a bit worried about what my horse is going to get for a rating.
Well, I'm a bit concerned about mine, because technically speaking, on the flat, that's my best horse, and it's come 10th, and I thought it was going to win. So I didn't run it in the first week, because I thought I'm keeping that one up my sleeve, and it was... It wasn't a good idea, because he did get hampered at the beginning, so I'm using that as an excuse. But it was a reality check for me, that one. That's my best flat horse, and it's 10th. So.
Yeah. Well, it's under 5 lengths away from the winner, so that's not too bad. And I don't think I've had a horse finish that close in a group race. So, but I'll be looking to get it out of there. I only raced it in there just to get it a start, I think, get it a rating or something. Not even sure why I entered it in a Group 2, but the damage has been done.
I've always had ideas above my station. I tempt what windmills, and I'll be entering all the Group 1s regardless. I don't care how far I get beat by. you got to be in it to win it. It's no good. It's no good leaving them at home, is it? That's the only race they can really you put them in it. See what happens. That's what I say anyway.
I had the same attitude for about the first 3 to 5 weeks of my first season, and then I realised, what am I doing? Straight down to the 0 to 75s.
I think I probably will end up doing that as well. At the moment, it's still I'm still living in fantasy.
Well, you've got a horse here that could do something.
Yeah, to be honest, I've had a couple that haven't done too bad. I've had a second and a couple of a third and a couple of fourths. So it's just weird. This is the first time I've been in it. These horses that I've got, they're winning Group 1s by 10 lengths in my game, and so it's just surprising to see them losing, because you think, what's going on? I mean, that horse in that one particular race, that had won 15 Group 1s, I think, and only ever been beaten once, and that was just the jockey took it on the wrong side of the track, and I've never seen it be 10th before, so
it hurts.
It does. I mean, I've got through far more wine this last week or two than I did the week before, because she's pouring another one out here quick. I might retire early next season and just go back to commentating.
A man's got to know his limitations, and I'd say start looking for your lower grade races. Just start putting them where their rating says they should be, and you'll get winners straight away.
Yeah,
or if they don't win, they'll be very close. You'll be drinking more because you'll be celebrating.
I think I'll windmill tilt until Royal Ascot, I think, and then I'll go down in amongst the stuff. You've got to be in the big races up to Royal Ascot, I think. Otherwise, that's the fun of it, isn't it?
I'll leave them for you, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody's doing so much. I mean, look at Jim Murray there in second. He's having a brilliant season, isn't he? With his flat horses and his jump horses, he's doing really well, and quite a few other people as well. You can see an improvement from last season, and they were good last year. So I think the best chance you and me have got is to have a word with this Mark chap that designed the game, and say to him, look, can you slip us a sort of copy of SO7 about 6 months before everybody else, and then we can get a bit of an head start.
It would be nice. I'd need it.
Yeah, I think you probably find that I would as well. So that was the big action on Monday then, Doug. It's been good to chat to you. Hopefully we'll get a bit longer next week. A few things this week. You got your new technology, you got a new phone, was it, or something?
Yep, I'm talking to you on my new phone right now, the Galaxy S8 Plus. It's almost the size of a TV.
There you go. You see, you've gone one better than me, because I've just not long since had the 7. So there you go. Always one step ahead.
Yeah, I know. I try to be.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to this week. We've got some big races again this week. I think we got live feeds every night this week coming up. And I think you've got the.
Excellent.
I think you've got the 1,000 guineas to call, and Tim's got the 2,000 guineas, and I think I've got the Kentucky Derby. So after all what I've just said about American racing, there'll probably be a thing put on the board. Don't let that bloke commentate on our racing. You might get an email from Gray saying, "Can you do the Kentucky Derby?" Because we don't want him doing it.
I was just going to say that. Maybe we should swap.
I was wondering if there was any way we could get hold of Mike and say to him, look, have you got a spare 5 minutes to just compensate on that one race? Because it's not going to be the same without Mike doing it, is it?
It's not. I'm surprised he hasn't bobbed up and put his hand up to do them. So
yeah,
you never know. There's still a couple of days to go. He still could show up.
I'm guessing he's busy. But if you're listening to this, Mike, if you're around and you've got a spare 5 minutes, you do the Kentucky Derby, and that's fine with me.
Sounds good.
Right, we'll catch you next week then, Doug. It's good talking to you again.
No worries, mate. See you then.
So, always great talking to Doug then, and we'll have a quick roundup now of the rest of the races on Monday that we didn't get time to do. We're a bit strapped for time this week. The first race of the day was the Al Nabuda UAE Derby. That's a Group 2 event, and that went to Esposito for John Morgan. Comfortable half-a-length win from Bartertown boy Jim Murray in second, and Elizabeth Browning. Paul Rhodes was back in third. So, 3 of the big names up there straight away from the very off. The third race of the day was the Gulf News Dubai Golden Shaheen, and that was another win for John Morgan. Ted Burrow Wish this time. winning by a length and a quarter from Ali Deed in second. Ice Cold Fusion for Paul Rhodes was back in third, and Jim Murray again, Dreadshire Boy, was fourth. The Dubai Duty Free next was that was a Group 1 event over 9.5 furlongs, and this one went to Paul Rhodes. Rebound was the winner there, with Shadal in second, Inkbot back in third, and Monte Carmelo in fourth. Thunderspark and David Thompson taking the third and fourth place there, and Martin Cairns' Guinness wasn't too far behind. The fifth race was the actual World Cup race, and that went to Tsar Approval, who was back from last year and is pretty much unbeatable. It seems sometimes when he doesn't get himself into too much trouble, he's a horse that likes to get himself boxed in, but there was no problem with that today, and he was well up the front, and there was no trouble for him at all. He won comfortably by 3 3/4 lengths from Kathy Freeman for Paul Rhodes in second, and David Robertson's Eye Sharp was back in third. Thunderspark's Gins made it a fourth, and Key Solution, another one back from last year, was in fifth for James Shea. The Al Quaz Sprint was next up, and amazingly, this is the first flat grade Group 1 for Jim Murray. Wiltshire Girl being the winner by 3/4 of a length from Mind Your Manners. Back in second for Paul Rhodes. Beldust was third for Thunderspark, and big surprise, Lock Song being beaten back in fourth for John Morgan. I'm not sure that it was totally unbeaten, but it was pretty much close to it if it wasn't unbeaten, and it didn't run badly, but it just shows you how good the others must be. Wiltshire Girl battling on really well. I mean, pushed out to win. It'll be interesting division for the rest of the season. The Dubai Gold Cup was the next race. This is the long distance 2-mile race, and this one went to Martin Cairns. Proteus was the winner there. 50-1 shot beat Let's Dance. Paul Rhodes in second. Mr. Shiver, who's another one I think is back from last year from Molly at Surfer, was third. The staying division is going to be quite interesting again, I think, this season. Now, the last two races of the day on Monday were back at Epsom. The first one was the City and Suburban Handicap, and that's a famous old race, and it was a dead heat between Kush for Stu Gray and Mokalate for Joshua Sutherland, with Serious Chill's Man Cave back in third, and Ben Benici getting a fourth with Seam Lovers. The final race was the Epsom Mile, which was a maiden race. Big forecast there, 40-1 winner, 100-1 second. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? But it was Breed the Beast for Joshua Sutherland that was the winner, winning by 1/4 of a length from Martin Cairns' Miller, and then Muzriver Star for Thunderspark was back in third place, and Bushwine for David Robertson was fourth. So that was Monday then. We've done things all a little bit backwards this week because we got a few technical difficulties with me and Doug being able to hook up together with the time differences and all that sort of stuff. So we'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll have it a bit more streamlined, a bit more the right way around. Hopefully get some new features in as well. And until then, we'll see you next time.